Hello, and welcome to our webinar, Graphic Novels for All. I'm Susan Maguire, Senior Editor, Collection Management and Library Outreach here at Booklist. Before we begin, I'd like to go over some technical details. Links to today's slide presentation and title list were included in the reminder email you received from Zoom 1 hour ago. To download them, please open that email, scroll to the bottom, and click on the links located there. You can also download the slides and title list by typing the URLs on this screen into your web browser. If you have any trouble accessing these materials, please contact us at webinars@booklistonline.com. The audience is in listen-only mode, but we welcome any questions you may have. On the bottom of your screen is a toolbar with a button for Q&A. If you have a question or need technical assistance, simply click Q&A and type your message into the box that appears. We will do our best to respond to all tech-related questions and pass along all other questions to today's panelists so they can follow up with you after the webinar. Booklist offers closed captionings on all webinars. To enable or disable captions on your screen, please look for and click the captions icon on the toolbar mentioned earlier. From there, you can select show or hide captions from the menu that appears. If you choose to enable subtitles, you can adjust the size of the captions at any time by selecting caption settings. And finally, Booklist expects all participants to maintain an atmosphere of respect and fairness. Anyone who violates this standard of behavior, including engaging in any form of harassment, may, at the discretion of the organizers, be immediately removed. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing from Laura J. Ferguson, Sales and Marketing Director for Tuttle Publishing, Callista Gonzalez, Marketing and Publicity Coordinator for Eyes Press, and Tammy Kung, Title Marketing Manager for YA, and Anna Sullivan, Title Marketing Manager for Adult Books, both at Wattpad. First, we'll hear from Laura J. Ferguson. Laura is the Sales and Marketing Director for Tuttle Publishing. She has over 20 years of experience in publishing, including business development, custom publishing, and both traditional and special market sales. She has worked at a number of publishers, including Abrams Books, Simon & Schuster, Time Inc. Books, and Open Road Integrated Media. Thank you for joining us, Laura.
Great. Thank you very much, everyone. I am excited to be here and happy to show you what we have coming from Tuttle Publishing. A number of graphic novels coming this fall, as well as some backlist titles, and then also some of our art and art instruction titles. And we can go with the first slide. Thanks, Taylor. All right, the first title is Murakami Manga Stories. This title is the first volume in a 3-book series. This is the first time these short stories have been featured in graphic novel form. This volume includes 4 of the author's best love stories, including The Birthday Girl. Murakami's stories, short stories, and novels have sold millions of copies worldwide. He is considered Japan's best-known contemporary writer. The illustrator has adapted and depicted each one of these stories in a slightly different design and interpretation. This way, each story is unique. We recommend this title for adult audiences. Next slide, please. Osamu Dazai's No Longer Human. Osamu Dazai is extremely popular author in Japan, and No Longer Human is considered the second best-selling novel in Japan. In the past few years, there has been a renowned interest in No Longer Human because of the anime series Bungo Stray Dogs, which airs on Amazon Prime. The stray dogs in the are famous literary characters from popular Japanese literature. Osamu Dazai is the main character in the series, and he is a detective. The series is launching its 5th season this coming January. This title is black and white throughout, and again, we recommend this title for 16 and up. Next slide, please. Grandmothers Are Grandmothers. This is a sensitive and beautiful graphic novel that tells the individual stories of survivors of World War II's comfort women. These Korean survivors are still waiting for an official apology from Japan. And as they wait, they continue to protest each week. They have been protesting since 1992. This graphic novel tells the individual stories of fear and courage and how these women survived and continue to survive and demand an acknowledgement from Japan. This is a great YA title for libraries and school curriculum. Next slide. Japanese Yokai Handbook. This is a great guide to yokai spirits and ghosts. This title ranks each creature for their speed, intelligence, danger, immortality, similar to a Zagat's Guide. There are over 175 color illustrations, and this content also appeals to a gaming fan as well as a graphic novel fan. Again, we feel this is a title that's better for an older audience. Our author is an expert in Japanese yokai. Next slide, please. Janice Salon and the Creature of Taban. This is the first volume in a 2-volume graphic novel collection. The authors are Man Asian Literary Prize winners. Janice is a typical kid, an average kid, wishing for a girlfriend, fighting with his parents, and playing video games. At a video game conference, his life suddenly changes. He and a fellow gamer need to figure out why everyone around them is dying. A great title for graphic novel fans and gamer fans, and a definite YA title for 16 and above. Next slide, please. The Journey to Lupin On. This is the third book in the well-reviewed series Mythology Class. It's the continuation of the original story, but can also stand alone on its own. The author is part of a new generation of Filipino graphic novelists and recently spoke at the New York Public Library. Next slide, please. The Mythology Class series started with the first title, the Mythology Class, which is award-winning. The second title in the series is The Children of Bathala, which we just launched this past spring and has had great reviews. The final title is The Journey to Lupin On. Next slide, please. The Festival of Shadows. This fictional story follows Naoko and her journey to save the soul of shadows. Shadows are the souls of those who have passed away, but have not moved on to the other world. This is a wonderful cultural look at the world of shadows from the perspective of a young woman. This beautifully illustrated graphic novel is a Junior Library Guild selection, a great YA novel with a look into Japanese culture and folklore. Next slide, please. Tokyo Rose, 0 Hours, a nonfiction graphic novel that tells the story of Iva, a Japanese American who was visiting family in Tokyo when Pearl Harbor was attacked. After refusing to renounce her US citizenship, she was forced to host a radio show, 0 Hour, a propaganda broadcast that was aimed at demoralizing US troops. She became known as Tokyo Rose, the Siren of the Sea. After the war, she returned to the US and was imprisoned for 6 years as a traitor. This graphic novel retells her story in Japan and the US. She was eventually pardoned by President Ford in 1977 after 6 years of prison. This title is a wonderful YA read featuring complex issues of misinformation and prejudice. and is a Junior Library Guild selection. Next slide, please. A History of Japan in Manga. This is a concise, action-packed historical look at Japan, perfect for reluctant readers. The use of sidebars and timelines helps to make this history title interactive and informative, making use of the graphic novel format to add excitement to traditional Japanese history, from Japan's earliest years to the present day. Over 1,000 illustrations and detailed maps are included. Next slide, please. Strange Japanese Yokai, a great YA guide to the unusual spirits, demons, and monsters. Each creature is featured with their own backstory to give the reader a full picture of their cultural relevance. There are 122 yokai featured with over 150 color drawings, a reference guide to the wild and mysterious creatures that inhabit Japan, translated by Zach Davidson, an award-winning translator and writer. Next slide, please. Learn Japanese with Manga, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Volume 1 starts your journey off with the basics of hiragana and katakana. Volume 2 adds more useful words and phrases to create more complex sentences. Both books include free online audio features, including native speakers, and a bi-directional dictionary, a fun way to learn a new language. Next slide, please. This next group of titles are the titles that we have in our art and art instruction line. Fantasy costumes, manga, anime, and cosplay. This title features the combined talent of 13 Japanese illustrators and artists with emphasis on fashion. It's an idea Bible with over 1,100 illustrations, great for cosplay ideas and concepts. Sidebars with expert advice and 55 detailed hybrid fantasy examples. Lots of opportunities for mashups. For example, school uniforms with furries, or Japanese folk costumes with animals and plant motifs. Next slide, please. The complete guide to drawing manga and anime. This 13-week program features 65 lessons that you can take on your own or with someone else. Over 1,000 illustrations are featured with examples of poses, clothing, facial expressions, an unlimited collection. An art school course concept with a soup to nuts approach. Next slide, please. A guide to drawing manga fantasy furries. This drawing guide features anthropomorphic furries, humans with animal features, or animal hybrids featuring a mix of animal features. Over 700 color black and white illustrations, tons of details on poses, expressions, clothing, and fur. Next slide, please. Drawing manga, a full art course in one book, from anatomy to facial expressions and clothing. 2 Japanese illustrators share their expertise on figure drawing, composition, 2 and 3D dimensional designs. There are also tips on how to create content, character development, and dialogue. Over 1,000 illustrations, a drawing guide with in-depth direction on creating your own storylines and characters. We recommend this for 16 and up. Next slide, please. Manga Anime Digital Illustration Guide. For artists looking for a digital guide to create phone apps, anime films, and video games. Also, in-depth instruction on 2- and 3-dimensional designs, such as posters, book covers, graphic novels, and illustrated books. Over 650 drawings with full professional instructions from artists and illustrators on creating your own digital designs. Next slide, please. Anime and Manga Digital Coloring Guide, an in-depth guide on how to create a wide range of emotions with color and color combinations. Hair, clothing, eyes, all express a specific mood and emotion. Step-by-step instructions on creating color combinations that bring emotion to your designs. Over 1,000 color combinations with CMYK and RGB percentages. That's it. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you so much, Laura. We'll now hear from Callista Gonzalez. Callista is the marketing and publicity coordinator of Eyes Press, the Korean comic imprint of Yen Press. Callista has been a lifelong fan of manga, anime, Korean comics, and storytelling in general. She is a voracious reader who doesn't understand the concept of a to-be-read pile and is happy to work in a role in which she can share her love of books with others, from fans to librarians. Thank you for being here today, Callista.
Hello, everybody. My name is Callista, as introduced, and I'm the marketing and publicity coordinator at Eyes Press, the Korean content imprint of Yen Press. Yen Press brings you your favorite manga, manhwa, light novels, audiobooks, and more. I'm really excited to show you a handful of titles of various genres, both available now and upcoming, that you should definitely check out. Next slide, please. All right, first one up is a new graphic novel for kids ages 8 and up. It is being released under our JY imprint in December, which is great for the holidays. Amy's Big Brother is the highly anticipated continuation of Bon Hyung-jung's debut work, Kyle's Little Sister. It's a prequel story following Kyle's friend Andrew and his little sister Amy. Andrew is just entering middle school when the story starts, and he's so glad to get away from his loud, spoiled, annoying little sister. You know, he's tired of hearing, be nice to your sister, take care of your sister, be a good boy in front of your sister. But no, now that he's in middle school, he can finally be away from her. So he quickly becomes the MVP of his basketball team, one step towards his goal of going pro, and as everything is going well for him, he meets his cute classmate Hannah. Now, this author really excels in portraying relatable experiences, as Andrew is nervous about everything, like whether Hannah would consider a friend request out of the blue as creepy, or how happy Andrew is to learn that Hannah likes birds, you know, one step closer to getting to know her. There's even a moment when Hannah just says hi in person, and Andrew tries to say hey in a cool way, but it mostly just leaves his friends quietly laughing at him. They do eventually start going out, and that's when some relatable middle school relationship drama begins, including when Amy wants to follow Andrew on his date because it's at the mall, and Amy must go to the mall. I won't spoil too much. You'll have to pick up the book to find out more, and it's complete in one volume, but you'll definitely want to read more about Andrew, Hannah, and Amy. There are also a few subtle plot points that really makes Amy's Big Brother stand out, like the fact that Andrew's adopted. It's something he's always known to be true, but Amy is the biological child of his parents, and she was born after he was adopted. I can't show you a preview of this title just yet, but we do upload review copies onto Edelweiss and NetGalley as soon as they're available, so please do keep an eye on this upcoming comic. And pick up the author's debut work, Kyle's Little Sister, if you haven't already. Next slide, please. Our next title is Cuckoo's 3, which is an LGBT comic for ages 16 and up due to language. It is co-created by Cassandra Jean, the artist of many original graphic novels published by Yen Press, including the beloved The Mortal Instrument series. Cuckoo's 3 was first uploaded onto the Webtoon platform, where it has over 4.7 million views, and now fans can rejoice that it's available now in print, in full color, and complete in one volume. This comic follows country boy Murray and his new neighbor from the city, Jacob, in a wonderfully refreshing yet dramatic slice-of-life boys' love story. Next slide, please. Jacob and Murray quickly bond after meeting, with Murray being fascinated at all of Jacob's piercings and Jacob loving all of the adorable farm animals. Murray discovers Jacob's an artist, and Jacob starts coming to Murray's football games. Look at those muscles. Jacob pretty quickly opens up about the fact that he's gay, and Murray is absolutely shocked that anyone could be so open about that in the countryside, but also realizes his feelings for his cute yet troubled new neighbor are growing beyond normal friendship. Next slide, please. This comic does have a lot of mature topics like homophobia, depression, and child abuse. Jacob himself also has dissociative identity disorder, which is rarely covered in comics these days. As you can see here, the ever-popular Murray starts getting ostracized by his once close teammates after he starts dating Jacob and publicly standing up for him. They even confront Jacob, saying Murray's just being nice to the weirdo and demanding Jacob leaves Murray alone so everything can go back to the way it was. I won't spoil how everything turns out, but you can currently read a digital copy of this title on Edelweiss and NetGalley to find out for yourself. Cuckoo's 3 is definitely a must-have for any diverse library. Next slide, please. Yes, Bocchi the Rock. It's a highly anticipated comedy slice-of-life manga that blew up after receiving an anime adaptation in the fall 2022 season. It follows an anxiety-riddled high school girl named Hitori who starts learning to play the guitar because she dreams of being in a band. But she's also so shy that she hasn't made a single friend. However, her dream might come true after she meets Nijika, a drummer who is looking for a new guitarist for her band. Next slide, please. Bocchi the Rock is recommended for readers 13 and up and will be available in October 2023. It's great for fans of titles like Komi Can't Communicate and Tomo-chan is a Girl. As you can see from the short preview, Bocchi the Rock features 4-coma paneling, adorable characters, and funny expressions on each page. Next slide, please. The Bocchi the Rock manga announcement was one of our biggest acquisition announcements ever on Yen Press social media, with fans just dying to add this English print edition of their favorite comic to their bookshelves. Often called a cute girls doing cute things manga, Bocchi the Rock has a simple yet relatable plot as the introvert Hitori tries to climb out of her shell through rock music and overcome her daily struggles of social phobia. Fun fact, her nickname Bocchi, is a reference to the Japanese term Hitori Bocchi, which means being alone. Bocchi the Rock is an enjoyable read for anyone looking for a fun, lighthearted story with awesome chemistry between a main cast of eccentric characters. Next slide, please. The Summer Hikaru Died is one of our most popular horror manga ever, and Volume 1 just released in July. It's a brilliant masterpiece featuring the detailed, grotesque art and uniquely engaging storytelling of creator Mokumokuren. This iconic horror manga's fan base rivals that of Junji Ito's work, speaking to the intense passion and excitement for those of the series. The Summer Hikaru Died follows 2 boys, Yoshiki and Hikaru. The 2 did everything together and were as close as can be until one day Hikaru goes missing in the mountains. He comes back after about a week, but Yoshiki can tell he's not quite the same. Next slide, please. Yoshiki confronts Hikaru about the change, and it's revealed that even though it has Hikaru's face, voice, and memories, whatever came back from the mountains that day isn't his best friend. However, this thing that's borrowing Hikaru's body begs Yoshiki to not tell anyone because it just wants to live as a human. School, friends, ice cream, enjoying all the little things. He even claims that his feelings for Yoshiki are real, so he doesn't want to have to kill him. Yoshiki wants Hikaru to be by his side always, no matter what. So he agrees, even knowing that this Hikaru is a fake. Next slide, please. Whatever it is, having it by his side is way better than not having Hikaru at all, and the 2 continue on as if nothing changed at first. Hikaru is really glad that Yoshiki is treating him nicely, but it soon becomes hard to ignore that this Hikaru isn't human. Even friendly stray cats start hissing at him at a glance. Hikaru even shows Yoshiki how he's not human by allowing him to stick his hand inside his open chest, which is definitely a scene you want to check out for yourself. This title is another manga that you can read now on NetGalley and Edelweiss, with Volume 2 coming out in October. Next slide, please. Not So Wicked Stepmom is an adorable romance manhwa about a children's clothing designer who reincarnates as the evil stepmother of Snow White. It's rated teens for ages 13 and up, with Volume 1 available now, and great for fans of reincarnation and villainous stories, such as Villains Are Destined to Die, if you already have that title in your libraries. This title was an original webcomic on the Tapas platform, where it has 6.4 million views and 124,000 subscribers. Unlike the Snow White fairy tale, all Her Majesty Abigail wants to do is dote on the adorable Princess Blanche and give her the happy childhood she deserves. The problem is, the previous Abigail, who the clothing designer is now inhabiting the body of, has garnered a reputation of being extremely jealous and materialistic, and to top it off, her smile is, unfortunately, the stuff of children's nightmares. Next slide, please. This unique twist on Snow White features lots of comedy, cute artwork, and an adorable mother-daughter dynamic between Queen Abigail and her daughter, as she works hard to prove that she's not so wicked after all. What works abundantly well in this series is how heavily it leans into the comedy, with Abigail's obsession over Princess Blanche bordering on pathological. Her constant doting and frantic internal monologue on cuteness makes for a hilarious read. Next slide, please. Abigail works to strengthen the bond between her stepdaughter and her father, King Sabrian, creating a sort of romantic redemption story, as originally the trio of Abigail, her husband, and Blanche did not have a good relationship at all. When Abigail tries to give Blanche presents, Sabrian is suspicious if it's somehow dangerous, and Blanche is sort of intimidated by her father, rarely seeing him or interacting with him at all. Luckily, with enough awkward dinners, Abigail might be able to pull everyone together in this beautifully loving story. Next slide, please. Jungle Juice is an upcoming sci-fi action manhwa that will be releasing in September. It was originally released digitally on the Webtoon platform, where it received 66 million views. Jungle Juice follows college student Suchan, who is at the top of his food chain, so to speak. But despite his popularity and charisma, he has a secret that keeps him from getting close to others. Under his clothes lies a pair of dragonfly wings. When he was younger, he used the discontinued bug spray called Jungle Juice. And when trying to kill a dragonfly, unbeknownst to him, he inhaled dragonfly DNA, which merged with his own due to the effects of the spray. Next slide, please. One day, while out with his crush, they're attacked by a deranged man with mantis arms. This is the first time he's ever seen anyone else with insect parts. In order to save his crush, he ends up revealing his wings, changing his life forever. Just as he's about to give up on it all, he's approached by a beautiful girl with insect antennae on her head, who invites him to join an academy for fellow human-insect hybrids. Next slide, please. Jungle Juice features a unique art style that highlights the insect body parts wonderfully. This title is great for fans of X-Men and My Hero Academia, and those looking for a new super-powered school series. A digital review copy of Volume 1 should be uploaded onto Edelweiss next week, so keep an eye out. Next slide, please. Seven Fates Chaco is one of our most highly anticipated manhwa to be released under our Korean content imprint Eyes Press, as it was made in collaboration with the K-pop sensation BTS. Each of the 7 main characters are based on a BTS band member, and Volume 1 will be releasing in October. Seven Fates Chaco was originally released digitally on Webtoon with 33 million views, and it draws an extremely dedicated fan base that aims to support their favorite K-pop group. This series broke viewing records on Webtoon when it was launched in January 2022, and it is complete in 53 episodes. Next slide, please. In a city full of corruption, our protagonist Zeha suddenly wakes up in a hospital, unable to recall anything that happened after speaking with a mysterious man one night. He soon learns that there are strange tiger creatures called Bum who are wreaking havoc on the city. It turns out that although he can't remember, Zeha was actually the one responsible for releasing these ferocious beings into the city after being manipulated. Next slide, please. Destiny brings 7 boys together in order to fight these cruel invaders and protect the city. Seven Fates Chaco features engaging action, handsome protagonists, and as previously mentioned, a massively dedicated fan base. With Volume 1 releasing in October, fans don't have to wait too long to read the first installment of this action-packed manhwa. Next slide, please. Seven Fates Chaco is one of the 3 Korean comics that we're releasing in collaboration with the entertainment company HYBE. Starring K-pop royalty, Eyes Press is releasing HYBE's IP-based original story comics, Seven Fates Chaco with BTS, The Star Seekers with Tomorrow X Together, and Dark Moon the Blood Altar with Enhypen. Characters in these original comics tie into the members of each band. The Star Seekers takes place in a world where magic idols prevail and follows an ordinary idol group called Star One, who initially have no powers. After a concert comes under attack, the members become gifted with magical powers, and the once unpopular group finds themselves tasked with saving the world. Volume 1 of the Star Seekers releases in November. Dark Moon the Blood Altar mixes urban fantasy and teen romance, as the most popular boys at 2 rival schools happen to be vampires and werewolves. When a mysterious new girl transfers in, the rivals find themselves inexplicably drawn to her as horrible incidents start to shake the town. The boys' forgotten past slowly begin to unravel, and their world is turned upside down. Volume 1 of Dark Moon the Blood Altar will be available in December. Next slide, please. Our last title for today is Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, which is, without a doubt, our most highly anticipated manhwa, with Volume 1 releasing in December. Since Eyes Press's acquisition of the author's other work, The World After the Fall, in 2022, readers have highly anticipated English print editions of Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. The acquisition announcement was our most popular announcement of all time, gaining over 1 million impressions and 18,000 likes on Twitter alone. It was originally released on Webtoon with over 261 million views and is regarded as one of the top webtoons on the platform. It follows struggling office worker Dokja Kim, whose sole joy in life is reading an online novel so obscure he's the only reader. Then one day, the story comes to an end, and strange creatures start invading the world. As humanity suddenly finds itself being massacred by deadly monsters straight out of the novel, while fighting against other humans in sadistic scenarios, Dokja realizes these monsters and scenarios are from the novel that only he knows the ending of. He uses his knowledge and cunning to outwit the creatures and survive alongside the novel's intended protagonist and his other teammates. The Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint comic also won the Minister of Culture, Sports, and Tourism Award in the manhwa category of the 2021 Korea Content Awards. I unfortunately don't have a preview to show you today, but this iconic survival game title brings together psychological drama and supernatural action in one brilliant package. Next slide, please. That's the end of my presentation today. I highly recommend you check out the titles I mentioned here. Here are our main socials, as well as my email if you'd like to reach out with any questions. And we at Yen Press are proud to bring you all of these comics in print. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Callista. Finally, we'll hear from Tammy Kung and Anna Sullivan. Tammy is the title marketing manager for all YA books across Wattpad Webtoon Book Group imprints, including Wattpad Books and Webtoon Unscrolled. Anna is the title marketing manager for all adult books, including W by Wattpad Books and Webtoon Unscrolled graphic novels. Close us out, Team Wattpad.
Amazing. Thank you so much. As you just heard, I'm Anna Sullivan. I'm the marketing manager for all of our adult titles, and I'll pass it over to Tammy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tammy, and as Susan mentioned, I'm the title marketing manager for our YA titles across all imprints. Next slide, please. For those of you who aren't too familiar with us, here at Wattpad Webtoon Book Group, we take the biggest and best stories from both the Wattpad and Webtoon platforms and turn them into books and graphic novels. So we've grown pretty quickly over the past few years, expanding from 1 imprint to 4. We started just 5 years ago with our Wattpad Books, our young adult imprint, home of authors like Bella Higgin and Jess Consolo. W by Wattpad Books is our adult imprint, publishing contemporary fiction from authors such as Beth Rickles and Ariana Godoy. Frayed Pages is our co-branded imprint with Anna Todd of After fame. And finally, the one that we'll be focusing on today is Webtoon Unscrolled, our graphic novel imprint that publishes the most popular YA and adult stories from the Webtoon platform. For those who don't know Webtoon, Webtoon is the world's largest digital comics platform with 72 million readers worldwide. That means our stories have built-in audiences. Millions of people have read these stories digitally and have loyally followed the creator and their story as it developed on the platform. And our goal is to give them their very own copy of that story on their bookshelf, while at the same time reaching even bigger audiences to grow fandoms across North America. And with all that being said, we'll kick things off with our adult titles, starting with Freaking Romance.
Amazing. Thanks, Tammy. So first up, we have this beautiful, sexy, supernatural love story. It's about being out on your own, finding your dream apartment, and discovering that your new place is haunted by a handsome spectral stranger from another dimension. Sure, I mean, he can't see you and you can't touch him, but who said every relationship starts out perfectly? Next slide, please. We'll show some of these beautiful interiors. So Freaking Romance is an epic tale with a supernatural twist. Fans of Lore Olympus will really appreciate the gorgeous artwork that you can see on this page and the compelling love story between Zelith and Zelan. This story already has 3.4 million subscribers and 285 million reads on the North American webtoon platform alone. And there are more volumes of this hit franchise coming out. People are very excited. So volume 1 of Freaking Romance will be out September 26th, 2023. And now let's talk a little bit about the creator. So Aiden Arroya, aka Snail Lord, they, is a manga, comic, and webtoon artist. He's known best for his romance webtoons, so including Freaking Romance, of course, but also comics such as Death Rescheduled and Nightmare Factory. Next slide, please. And here is Aiden himself to tell you a bit more about Freaking Romance.
Hi, my name is Aiden. I'm the creator for Freaking Romance. And Freaking Romance was originally inspired by how hard it was for me to find love. I feel like the chances of me walking outside right now and finding an alligator in my pool would be a lot higher than the chances of me walking outside and finding love. I don't even have a pool. At one point, I started to think, maybe I do have a soulmate, but maybe they are accidentally born into a different dimension, a different universe, a different planet. And that's how the idea for Freaking Romance was born. I feel like if you're someone who has, at one point or another, struggled to find love or struggle with the idea of love, but you still believe in love, then this story sounds like the right match for you. And I do hope that you enjoy the series.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, we always love hearing from Aiden, and that video is just adorable. All right, so next up, we have the second installment of Everything is Fine. This is one of the top horror titles on Webtoon. It currently has 84 million views, and right now it has an ongoing second season on Webtoon that just continues to grow in popularity. This is one of personally my favorite Webtoons. So this is the story of Sam and Maggie. Sam and Maggie are a normal couple. They live in a normal house, normal neighborhood. There is nothing strange about their heads, their neighbors, or their sweet little dog. Everything is fine. However, everything may not be as it seems, since the couple is under heavy surveillance, just like everyone else in town. And soon it becomes clear that Sam and Maggie are one wrong move away from something much more sinister. And on the next slide, we will see our lovely interiors, cute and creepy. Everything is Fine is perfect for readers who like dark suburban stories with a twist. This deceivingly adorable artwork just heightens the creepy factor of the psychological horror story behind this book. So think The Stepford Wives meets 1984 by way of My Little Pony. I stole that from our editor. She said that one time and I had to steal it from her. Volume 1 of Everything is Fine just released this past May, and it's steadily gaining word of mouth traction ahead of Volume 2, which is going to be releasing October 17th. Very excited. You're seeing a real sneak peek here with this bloody hammer, so spoiler alert, don't tell anybody. Okay, next slide. All right, this is Boyfriends. I love this title. This next title is just pure joy, from the artwork to the characters to the story to the creator. Boyfriends is a slice of life graphic novel about 4 college guys who decide to give a polyamorous relationship a try. This popular webtoon comic has already accumulated more than 2.2 million subscribers online and over 378 million reads. So with 140 plus episodes and a new super popular season 2 ongoing on the platform, fans cannot get enough of Boyfriends, and we've already had so much feedback that they're really excited to get their hands on a print version. The stories included inside these pages are full of squee-inducing queer wish fulfillment as the boyfriends make their relationship work in their own sweet way while still dealing with the trials and tribulations of being a college dude. This book has adorable artwork, lots of humor. We can go to the next slide and you'll see some of the interiors. Oh, it's adorable. This adorable artwork also has lots of humor, moments of pride, big and small. Boyfriends is just a really heartwarming and fresh addition to the world of best-selling LGBTQ graphic novels. And we're really excited to be bringing a story like this to the shelves so that audiences can experience LGBTQ plus stories that focus on the joy that can be found in relationships and the magic in the everyday simplicities of life and everything that can bring when you're navigating it with a partner, or in this case, several partners. So we are really excited for your library consumers to dive into this series in print. It's coming out on November 21st. And then on our next slide, we have our final adult title. So this is Lumine, Emma Krogel's enchanting comic. A runaway werewolf, Lumine, meets a witch boy named Cody, and he is hired to work as his bodyguard. And that is just the beginning. Lumine is determined to protect both Cody and become his friend. But the mysterious witch does everything in his power to keep Lumine at an arm's length. Without realizing it, Lumine stumbles paws first into a world of magical secrets. Lumine is a fan favorite story on Webtoon with more than 339 million views, 3.1 million subscribers. And volume 1 that is coming out this season is just the beginning of a compelling and evolving story about magic, family, and friendship. The art in this story is gorgeous. It ranges from cute puppies to action-packed fight scenes, as well as tender moments between Lumine and Cody. Lumine will be releasing on December 5th. Let's go to the next slide. We'll get to see some of those gorgeous interiors before I pass it over to Tammy. They're also like beautiful and richly colored, and the relationship between Cody and Lumine is to die for. Okay, passing it over to Tammy. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Anna. Okay, so now we're going to dive into our YA list this fall. And the first title that we have is The God of High School. So this is based on the Webtoon sensation that has not only 8 billion reads on the platform, but is also a hit Crunchyroll show. The story follows Mori Jin, a high school student and Taekwondo specialist who enters the God of High School tournament, which is a fighting tournament that promises the winner anything they want. So throughout the competition, Mori Jin befriends allies and fights to the top. But what began as a competition to seek out the best high school fighter soon reveals itself to be part of a much greater plot that goes beyond Mori's wildest imagination. And he has to ask himself the question of what will he give to become a true god? Next slide, please. This series is not only known for its distinctive art style, but also its dynamic and colorful action scenes, which you can see here that display a variety of different martial arts. It's perfect for readers who love that tournament arc trope from shonen manga. It has a large cast of secondary characters, and it's a fast-paced, keep you on the edge of your seat story. The Beat even called it a bucket of popcorn I wish would never end. The first volume of God of High School comes out on October 17th. Next slide, please. And this next title is perfect as we head into spooky season. I know it's only August, but Starbucks did release their PSL today, so I guess it's officially fall. Noblesse is perfect for fans of dark fantasy, of vampires and Frankenstein, and twists on those classic fantasy stories. So when Rai wakes up after 820 years, he discovers a modern world that he simply doesn't understand. Once an extremely powerful member of the Nobles, a race of nearly immortal and powerful creatures, Rai decides to start again as a high school student at Yiran High School, which is founded by his former servant, Frankenstein, who is somehow alive after all of these centuries. Frankenstein's goal is to help his powerful vampire-like master learn about human life and culture as he protects him from the modern forces that Rai cannot fathom. But his somewhat peaceful new life is about to be disturbed by the Union, a secret organization interested in using his powers to further their own malicious goals, of course. And when past clashes with present, Rai must do everything in his power to ensure that the union doesn't control his destiny. Next slide, please. So whether you're a fan of its two Crunchyroll shows, Noblesse and its prequel, Noblesse Awakening, read it on the Webtoon platform, or are just picking it up for the first time, as you can see here, there's beautifully expressive art, and you'll just simply fall in love with all of the fantastic characters. And Noblesse of Volume 1 comes out fittingly on Halloween. Next slide, please. All right, so if you're a fan of K-dramas, you might have already heard of True Beauty. This global sensation has over 5.1 billion reads on the Webtoon platform and was adapted into a hit K-drama of the same name. It follows the story of a high schooler named Jae-young, who sees her social standing skyrocket when she masters the art of makeup from YouTube. She's able to give herself a makeover and as a result achieves overwhelming popularity and fame. And now that she's armed with her newfound beauty, she's on the verge of a love triangle with two of the most handsome boys at school, Suho, the stoic, mysterious guy who knows her secret, and Sojun, the bad boy. So this series follows Jae-young as she balances the pitfalls of popularity with the newfound pressures of young adulthood. True Beauty was the first book we published at Webtoon Unscrolled, and in the past year, we've published 2 volumes, and the third one, this cover that you see right here in purple, is publishing on November 7th. And if you go to the next slide, we can take a look at some of the interiors here for the third volume. Next slide, please. And the last book on our list this fall is none other than Tower of God. So this is a classic Webtoon hit. It boasts over 6 million global reads on the platform and was turned into a hit Crunchyroll show with season 2 around the corner. So readers who love manga, dystopian stories like The Maze Runner or Solo Leveling, and readers who love visually stunning action sequences will love Tower of God. So this story, and you can go to the next slide, we can take a look at the interiors, follows 25th Bam as he journeys skyward in a mysterious tower to reunite with his best friend Rachel, even if that means facing his own death. Using his strength, his skill, and wits, Bam climbs higher and higher up the tower despite the dangers. Bam makes both allies and enemies on his quest to find Rachel. However, her intentions of reconnecting with him become unclear as new revelations about their friendship reveal a much deeper, darker secret. The first 2 volumes of Tower of God are available now, and the third volume comes out on November 28th. And next slide, please. And that is our fall 2023 list. Thank you guys so much for listening to us today.
Thank you so much, Team Wattpad, and a big thank you to all of today's wonderful presenters. Tomorrow, all attendees will receive an email containing links to today's slide presentation, title list, certificate of completion, and video recording. For more about Booklist webinars, be sure to visit booklistonline.com/webinars, where you can view archives of past webinars and register for upcoming ones like the ones you see here. We have a special announcement. Introducing Booklist's Book Club, a year-long partnership with your favorite publishers. Each month, Booklist will showcase book club picks and supporting materials from a different publisher, offering a wide range of genres and age groups to fit the needs of any book discussion group. Mark your calendars for September, when we'll reveal the first selection from HarperCollins children's books. To find out more information, scan the QR code on this slide or visit our website. Whether your young patrons and students are visiting the library after school or stopping by on the weekend for some new items, grow your collection with Booklist. Subscribe now to get print and digital copies of Booklist, archive access to past issues, and digital access to our new publication, Booklist Reader, for only $99. Visit our website for more details. Recently, ALA's Office for Intellectual Freedom reported 1,269 demands to censor library books and resources in 2022, the highest number of attempted book bans since ALA began compiling data about censorship in libraries more than 20 years ago. Join the Unite Against Book Bans campaign to help protect the freedom to read and to empower readers everywhere. Visit uniteagainstbookbans.org for more information, resources, to donate, and more. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. One more huge thank you to our panelists and to our sponsors, Tuttle Publishing, Yen Press, and Wattpad. This concludes today's webinar. See you next time.